This is Rachel Dworkin from the Chemung County Historical Society, recording for the COVID Memory Project on July 10th, 2020. I am here interviewing
Phyllis Rogan.
Okay, so Phyllis, you are currently retired, is that correct?
Yes.
What do you normally do during your week when it's not the middle of a pandemic?
Okay, in the past year, my main thing was my husband was very ill, and so I took care of him, caregiver. But I also continue to do things like on the board of the Chemung County Library District and in some committees for that. And I belong to a few clubs that I also continue to do.
Okay, what are those clubs?
The first club is a book club called the Athenaeum Club, and we meet a couple of times a month in either each other's homes for tea and a book discussion, or have luncheons sometimes in nearby restaurants and have books discussion. It's unusual in that we don't have one book that we all read and discuss. We talk about whatever we're reading.
Mm-hmm.
And I belong to a lifelong learning club, the Wednesday morning club, and we give each other lectures on. We write a paper and deliver the paper on a different theme each year, and this year it's immigration.
Okay.
Those have stopped, obviously, because we're terminated because of the quarantine.
Okay, so have any of those migrated to like digital or over the phone or whatever, or have they just?
No.
They've just stopped. Okay. So you had talked about your husband and how you were his caretaker. Is that still ongoing, or?
He died in February, right before this.
Okay. So you're used to living with your husband, and now you no longer have him, and you're isolated within your house because your social activities have ended. What
Correct.
has that been like for you?
It was extremely quiet. I'm used to, he had the television going on all the time, and he was there and somebody to talk to when anything happened, whether it was something on the television or when I was going out, came home and told him what I had done. And suddenly there's nobody to talk to. And I find myself talking out loud in my completely quiet house. I had never watched much television. It was on, I read a book or whatever. But I thought I would not turn on the television. But after a couple of days of silence, I turned on the television. But the voices were so anxious on television that I found myself feeling anxious.
Mm-hmm.
And so I turned it off again and rarely watched, except for one big exception. Like it was my job, I watched Governor Cuomo at 11:30 every day.
Okay. Do you have family still in the area?
I have a daughter, yes.
Has she been visiting and such?
Not much. She was in the beginning delivering food. She's a teacher, and there was the whole problem of kids not coming to school to get food.
Mm-hmm.
And she was delivering to their homes, distributing the food boxes. And she decided that she would keep away. She was getting her meals by forget the name of the agreement, but where they deliver meals from Wegmans. Instacart, I think.
Oh, okay.
She used Instacart. And did say, well, why don't I just get yours? First of all, I had a lot of food in the house, and I decided that I wouldn't do that. I would go to the grocery store. I'm used to picking out my own fruits and vegetables, and I like it. And so, but I only had to go a couple of times like once a month, so.
Yeah. How have you been keeping in contact with your various friends and relations?
We have used, and a lot more than we ever did before, the telephone, of course, but also the iPad, and I have an iPad, an iPhone, a laptop, and I find myself, all these things are ringing all the time now. And really, it takes up so much time. And I'm answering them immediately instead of looking at my email once a day or something. I'm instantly looking at everything. And it can drive you a little crazy instead of being a comfort.
Mm-hmm.
I'm finding my friends, my family, I have a large family. I'm the youngest of 5, and all my nieces and nephews, and my husband also came from a large family, and his nieces and nephews. And so between us all, something was always ringing. And that was nice, especially since Ed did die. Everybody, it might have been a little more than other people, people checking up on me, but it also, after 3 months, you're glad when it's a little less. I wasn't getting anything else done.
So what other things were you doing other than, fielding calls from friends and relations?
Well, basically, I went for a walk every day.
Mm-hmm.
And watched Cuomo every day, and made my own meals and cleaned my house. My daughter said it's a perfect opportunity to clean the house from head to toe. I didn't do that.
Me neither.
That's it.
Okay. You brought in a list that you showed me about living in isolation. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes.
And explain what's on that?
It was on Facebook. One of my friends put isolation well-being, things to do every day, and bulletin points: shower, medication, drink water, clean one thing, tend something alive or growing, be mindfully present to a sound or song, a sensory feeling, something you see, a spiritual practice. Reach out to someone outside your home. Do one thing to increase your heart rate. Do one thing you'll be glad you did later. Do one thing just because you want to. Get in at least one good laugh.
And how did you do when it came to keeping up with that checklist?
Pretty good.
Okay, good.
I did look at it every now and then and think, did you do this today?
So we had talked a little bit earlier about how time lost meaning for you. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I realized that it would be 4 o'clock and I had breakfast. I usually got up and had breakfast, but it would be 4 o'clock, and I realized, oh, I never had lunch. Well, I guess I better have lunch. And sometimes I'd be reading, and it would be, Ed, my husband, liked to schedule. We got up at 7 o'clock, we showered, came downstairs, had breakfast, had lunch at noon, dinner at 6, watched TV, or he did, and I read. But all of a sudden there was not that, and I think according to my friends they were doing the same thing. There wasn't that routine anymore.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is there anything else that you'd like to add about your COVID experience?
Maybe only that although I had a lot of communication, when I did go out to the store, and some of my communication was with people, friends from college who were closer to the city.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really scared. And I think that affected how I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I did go out to the store, there was a panicky feeling. I had clear plastic gloves that I had in the house because I used them when I was house cleaning or shining shoes or something. And so I wore those. Of course, I had the face mask on, but I had hand cleanser in my car, always a little jar of it, and used it. And every time you went out, it was, oh, I touched this, or I opened that door, and it was, how do you keep yourself completely safe? And you realize it's really not possible, in spite of the mask. And in the beginning, there was a lot of talk on television about when you went out to the store and you come home and you bring your groceries and you wipe them all down with Clorox wipes, which I also had in the house. And it just seemed that there were so many things to do that you hadn't done before. And yet when you did go out to the grocery store, which was about the only place I did go out, and as I say, it was very seldom, there was a feeling of, did I do everything that I was supposed to do? And you came back and you said, oh, there was always maybe the pen I picked up. Yeah.
Do you still feel that when you go out?
No.
No? So that feeling lessened over time?
Yes.
What do you think led to that feeling diminishing over time?
Probably I do check the Chemung County NewYork.gov,
Mm-hmm.
and they have on their site every day how many are in Chemung County, how many cases of coronavirus are in Chemung County, and how many deaths. And I do check that, and the fact that we had 3 deaths at the beginning and then none for a very long time, and the cases were great like they were with my friends closer to New York City.
I think it's like 119 at the moment. I think it's like 119 overall at the
right
moment.
now, yes.
Yeah, so we're doing pretty well compared to, say, New York.
Oh, yeah, we're doing very well. And I think we can, that is enough to make you relax and not feel you have to get quite as crazy as.
So are you taking the same precautions still when you visit, or are you just wearing the mask, no more gloves? What are you doing?
Right.
Okay.
No, just wearing the mask, no gloves.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, thank you very much for speaking with me.